Hello everyone, this is Tim with Red Mountain Air Conditioning, and we're looking at an American Standard air handler in someone's attic. And I want to point out this hanger rigging here. So that's a metal strap, looks like a vertical line, and then a piece of angle iron. And when you hang angle iron with metal strap, a lot of times it'll turn to a point. So you don't have a flat surface, that the weight of that air handler is now on a point, not a flat surface. And if you look at this air handler, you can see the end of it is hanging down quite a bit. And you see this big gap here, and it's narrower up at the top. That's how wide that gap's supposed to be. And as we walk our way down to the bottom of the corner, you have a huge gap there. So essentially, this whole air handler is falling apart because it was not hung properly. And so what we do differently is we will use unistrut, which is a square piece that'll go across, and we will use threaded rod to hang it from the roof joist or from the rafter. And then on top of that, we'll put a piece that goes from this end all the way to the other end of the air handler, which in this particular situation we can't see both ends of the air handler, but so you have end-to-end support, so you won't have the end of it falling down. So this causes air leakage problems, dirt problems, dust problems, drainage problems. Ultimately it will cause a air handler to fail. But there's a lot of problems if you don't. $20 worth of extra unistrut on this would have prevented this from happening. But I'm going to zoom in one more time so you can see. If I measured the height of that air handler where it's collapsing there, and the height of the corner, I'll bet that's fallen off 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It is really, and we see it often. This is very common, but this one is a little easier for me to photograph. But that's definitely a skipped step. They just reused the old air hanger rigging when the house was built, the way they did them in the 90s. They just reused that hanger rigging, and that air handler is completely collapsing. That can also kill a compressor, by the way, because that will allow dirt to infiltrate into that air handler and clog up the cooling coil, which looks like a radiator, but it's a wet when it's active. So if you think about your radiator in your car, if that's wet and you got dust from the attic going across it, that'll plug that up, which means the refrigerant goes through that coil, doesn't all convert to a gas, and then ends up going back to the compressor as a liquid. So this is a good way to kill a compressor. It's a good way to ruin an entire system, is not hanging it properly.